But in Q4, just maybe be a little bit more empathetic and patient. Any thoughts on that, Ryan, before I move forward?
Yeah, can I swear again?
Do it. We love it.
Yeah, I do love it. Clients lose their shit when Q4 hits, I think, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It reminds me of working at the last agency I worked at where, Q4 would hit and there was probably two or three, maybe four clients, all e-commerce based, and it was just bonkers, like trying to get
Mhm.
the product feed correctly, like all the Black Friday prices, Cyber Monday, and obviously at that point, my role was split between PPC, SEO, and things like that, and also like an account manager, but not an account manager just for Google Ads, but like their point of contact between me and the client. So it was always about imagery as well, like designs. Like, have we got the Black Friday banner up and running for the website? Have we got the Cyber Monday banner up and running? What email campaigns are we going to be sending out this Q4? What's the content? Has that been done in MailChimp? And, what promotions in Merchant Center, in Google Ads, and, all these different things, blogs for Christmas. Q4 was just a busy period. And
How's it going, everybody? It's Gene Villanos from the PPC Cave with my co host Ryan Fenton, and we are back once again together. And it's always nice whenever we're back together because it's just a little bit less lonely talking to the camera just by ourselves. But say hello, Ryan, to our beautiful subscribers.
hi, guys, how we doing? It's been a long time since Gene and I did this. We always say that now. It seems to be becoming a bit more of a regular thing where we're saying, yeah, it's been a long time since we've done that, but everything's been kicking off. Thanksgiving, new clients, just really busy times. Q4, which is kind of the main theme of this episode today, but I won't spoil it. I'll let Gene do the intro. But the main thing is we're back together again, and yeah, hopefully you got a good episode for everyone.
Thanks, Ryan. And, he definitely led me into the right direction regarding Q4. It is a busy time for both of us. And today's subject that we will be speaking about is managing clients in Q4, lead gen versus e-commerce. And this should be going under our playlist of how to get started as Google Ads freelancer or agency because it really lends more advice to not just actually in the Google Ads account, but the surrounding ecosystem of how to manage a specific client, or even if you're in house, or even if you're an agency side, how you can manage your clients so they get the best results and they're communicated to properly in a very busy time of Q4. And just going into our introduction, I think this is very relevant just because we are in Q4 right now. Currently, it is December the 5th, and Q4 is probably one of the most busiest in regards to e-commerce, busiest time and the most competitive time for advertising for e-commerce. And, you have clients that have high expectations at this time. Me and Ryan both see an uptick in client inquiries leading up to Q4 just because they want to make sure that their advertising, Google Ads, all those things are on point moving into this higher traffic season. And I think it kind of leads to a lot of the challenges that advertisers have because it's important for us to manage client expectations in a very high stakes season like Q4 and balancing budgets and performance. And if you're in lead gen, making sure that your CPCs are correct, the search terms that you're targeting are correct. And I think for our audience, it really just you gain practical tips in regards to client communication and just how to manage the campaigns in Q4 compared to the other quarters one, two, and three. And we want to provide insights like always, and custom strategies for you in both lead gen and e-commerce. Before I move on to my section, Ryan, do you want to add anything to that?
No, just a really good episode today. I think, Q4 for e-commerce, the busiest time of the year. Gene, you've got some great points that I can see. I'll kind of take a bit of a different point of view and, perspective on things with the lead generation side, but I think we should just get straight into it and, you know, get the
Yeah.
ball rolling.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we both notice, I'm sure Ryan notices this too, for specifically e-commerce clients in Q4 is we have to understand that this is high stakes for them. They could possibly be a little bit more high strung. Perhaps their customer service, their emails, returns, a lot of things are being flooded inquiries. And once you have just a lot more of something than you're consistently having in the past, then your stress level just automatically rises. So understanding that most of these e-commerce clients is make or break. If they don't have a good Q4, they could totally have a lopsided full year. A lot of sales in e-commerce really hinge upon Black Friday, Cyber Monday, any December holiday season sales or offerings. So understanding that you have to be a little bit more patient, a little bit more empathetic in regards to how you manage communication with your clients, specifically e-commerce. I know sometimes I see an email and I'm like, okay, you just emailed me 2 times in the last day, buddy. Like, why are you so why do you want like a quicker reply? And sometimes you're gonna have to swallow your pride, and for the sake of the relationship, you know, maybe put down something and just reply right away, because a lot of the times communication equals trust. And if they don't hear from you, then they might start thinking, okay, where is this guy, where, what's he doing, this and that. And for me, it's not always catering to the clients, because I think as a human being I should be entitled to work the way I work and not be on someone's beck and call. But in Q4, just maybe be a little bit more empathetic and patient. Any thoughts on that, Ryan, before I move forward?
Yeah, can I swear again?
Do it. We love it.
Yeah, I do love it. Clients lose their shit when Q4 hits, I think, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It reminds me of working at the last agency I worked at where, Q4 would hit and there was probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 clients, all e-commerce based, and it was just bonkers, like trying to get
Mhm.
the product feed correctly, like all the Black Friday prices, Cyber Monday, and obviously at that point, my role was split between PPC, SEO, and things like that, and also like an account manager, but not an account manager just for Google Ads, but like their point of contact between me and the client. So it was always about imagery as well, like designs. Like, have we got the Black Friday banner up and running for the website? Have we got the Cyber Monday banner up and running? What email campaigns are we going to be sending out this Q4? What's the content? Is that been done in MailChimp? And, what promotions in Merchant Center, in Google Ads, and, all these different things, blogs for Christmas. Q4 was just a busy period. And, it's kind of like, I obviously don't miss working in an agency or anything like that anymore. I love working for myself, and I'm genuinely, how much I love Google Ads anyway and my clients. But the point is that there is a little bit about it where it's like, it's kind of like a nice time, like, being so busy doing all this like Christmas preparations. Like, I'm a big Christmas guy, like a holiday season guy, as you can see with the Christmas jumper. So it's just fun, to kind of get all the preparations ready for Christmas, and these are like the offers and things. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and to add on to that, it's kind of funny since me and Ryan have extensive experience in Q4 with multiple different clients in both ecom and lead gen in different type of spaces. And it really boils down to, does the client think that whatever they have up their sleeve, offering, promo, gift for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, how good do they think it's going to work? And that's why I think the stress comes in, where it's like, this is my, idea. It has to work. So you have to convey that in Google Ads. But news flash, most of the time, it's not really because of the client. It's not really, you're not really moving the needle that much with your creativity. As much as I love my clients, and they probably, maybe some of them listen to this, but it's really not your creativity. It's just the seasonality of more traffic and people looking for a good deal. That's really all it is. And we have to in e-commerce, just kind of make that simple. I just really make sure I get with the client moving into Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Hey, this is what you said you want to do. Are there any copy that we have to change to reflect the offerings that you would like to be on your ads? And, most of the time, this is going to improve click through rate or clicks, but not always moving the needle in regards to how many conversions, conversion value, or return on ad spend. But sometimes it's fun to see the client get excited thinking that they did something. But anyway, moving away from that, even though that is the case, we love our clients. We have to make sure that we communicate and be like, okay, if this is the focus that we want to show our traffic, then we do that for our clients because we love them, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So having these different goals and strategies, we really have to make sure that we tailor the approach when it comes to Q4. And a lot of the times it's just going back to making sure, hey, is the copy correct? Do we have our holiday cutoff times of when an item will arrive before Christmas or before, I don't know, New Year's, if you sell something that's New Year's related? And then, making sure that the pricing is correct. I actually had one specific, error on one of my Performance Max campaigns. And I don't know if Ryan can chime in if he sees this sometimes, but the buffer period between either a Black Friday or Cyber Monday sale on PMax or shopping, obviously that goes to Google Merchant Center. But sometimes, I guess, if you're not, you could still be using Content API, but there might be a lag there with the pricing that you have actually on your website, the full list pricing and also the sale pricing versus what's actually in Google Merchant Center. And, just do a quick double check, because I do see that maybe the website crawl didn't register between when the Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals have shifted towards their like new in between price before Christmas. So, if you have any of those errors, just make sure you clean that up on Google Merchant Center, put that in manually, and then click crawl just so that they can get the exact correct price, because you don't want to not show a product because of that little discrepancy. But yeah, that's kind of it for me, but the last point is just making sure, even though Q4 is a great time, if it's the client's deals that has gotten a higher conversion value, return on ad spend, or maybe a little bit of your efforts as a Google PPC manager and theirs put together, it's really important that there will be elevated levels of either conversion value or return on ad spend in this time. Maybe it is seasonality, but just prefacing to the client, hey, we had a record or a big return on ad spend here in Q4. Let's not get too carried away thinking we're going to carry this over January and February. If we do, then that's even better, but just have that mindset to kind of bring them back to earth and say, hey, this is elevated times in Q4. Let's prepare for perhaps something slower in Q1. Any thoughts or add-ons to my section, Ryan?
Yeah, I think a lot of people naturally wind down for the holiday season anyway, for Christmas. So I think there's a lot of, I don't think there's too much expectations, going from Q4 to Q1, in January. Everybody's more, January is a very personal month for a lot of people, like new year, new me. Everybody's on a health journey and going to the gym and all that kind of stuff. And, I think people are, business owners and things like that, they're kind of like, yeah, we've had our busy period. Maybe there's January sales and things like that. People run another extended promotion throughout January, perhaps, usually attributed to the fashion industry and the clothing niche. But yeah, I think people are a little bit more understanding these days than they used to be about January, February being quieter periods. So, if you're a e-commerce account manager, Google Ads account manager, this is the perfect time, really, January, February, to really be testing different strategies, different campaign types, different bidding strategies, do some experiments, things like that. look at the quiet period and say, what can we do to maximize our efforts? We've got this really great campaign that's been dialed in for so long. What if we did an experiment of this different bidding strategy? Or what if we tried this campaign alongside it for the next month? What kind of like impact would that have? So it's a really good time to test different things and yeah, be understanding that you're probably not going to get the same volume of sales or traffic that you would do in Q4, but it's a really good time to, reflect and test different things. That's how I see Q1 for e-commerce and things like that. But Q4, man, it's just a busy, crazy time. Like I said, everybody goes nuts, from consumers to clients to everybody, because it's the run up to Christmas. It's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, then you've got the Christmas sales, and you've got Boxing Day sales. And like I said, sometimes it does go into the new year with January sales. So it's just constant, and just making sure that, yeah, I mean, we've kind of passed it now for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but definitely for Boxing Day, for Christmas, things like that. Making sure you've got those merchant center promotions up and running. Even the promotions asset in Google Ads, making sure that you're making use of those, set start, end times, and things like that. Um, yeah, it's just making sure you've got everything organized from that. And it's also off platform too. Like I said before, email campaigns, SEO, blog posts, things like that, making sure that everything is aligned for the holiday season, for Christmas, for New Year, things like that. Yeah, it's just going to have a big impact if, you're able to kind of focus on different offers, promotion strategies across the website, email campaigns, Google Ads, SEO. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. Yeah, getting into my section then, unless Gene, did you have any points on what I said? No?
No, you're good,
Good
man.
stuff.
Good
Okay,
stuff.
I'll keep going. So for lead gen, what's it like managing clients in Q4 for lead generation clients? And well, it's a little bit different. I don't think it's as busy for e-commerce as it is for lead generation. Depends what niche you're in. For example, I have a client who is in the private chauffeur, airport transfer type of niche. So he's a
Mm.
driver or whatever. And obviously, a lot of people are going to be going home for the holidays. So he's going to be doing a lot of airport pickups, airport transfers, private chauffeuring, things like that. So for him, it's a busy time, because he's getting a lot of more people coming into his location that he can kind of get a lot of work. But for others, for like tree surgeons, for like things like that, where it's like, you're in winter, so it's getting colder and people aren't really thinking about that stuff. It's kind of like a slowdown period. So some businesses offer winter offers, get half off this or, get a 75% discount on these services, just so they've got some consistent business coming in, But again, it's more about whereas Q4 for e-commerce is all about ramp up time. It's like, okay, let's increase budgets, which I had with the client. It's let's do promotions, let's do this, that, and the other. For lead generation in certain industries and niches is almost opposite. It's like, okay, let's start slowing down. Let's kind of reduce the budget. Let's, start, shutting shop for winter, basically. So adjusting budgets is usually a big thing as well. Sometimes I usually reach out to clients to say, do you want to reduce the budgets for Christmas and the holiday season, or do you want to keep it the same? I do give them that option. But I just think you can do if you want to do that. If you want to reach out to your clients and say, should we be, or even business owners listening to this, if you want to reduce your budgets, more than happy for you to do that. But I would probably say just to keep it the same, because naturally it's going to be a slow few days anyway. Christmas, New Year, it's time with friends and family. People aren't going to be searching as much as they normally would. So you probably wouldn't spend the full budget as if you would in like, if you're e-commerce, like November Q4, or if you're in lead generation, say something like June, summer months. So yeah, I wouldn't say adjusting budgets is too much of an issue, but for lead generation clients in Q4, that's typically something that I'll ask to see if they want to do that. Like I said, promotions usually a big thing. Like get 50% off these services just so that they've got regular business coming in. That's a big one. And I think for lead generation, at least people sending me inquiries, it's more of the fact that they want to kind of get their everything aligned and get their ducks in a row before the new year, like have a last ditch attempt or last ditch effort. Thanks, Gene, to get a marketing manager or an account manager in place before the new year. Like that whole new year, new me thing. Like, okay, well, 2024 is done. Now we're on to 2025. Sound a bit like Bill Belichick then. We're done for done for Denver. Now we're on to Cincinnati. You know what I mean? He does that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He used to do that back in the day. But it's the same thing with clients and business owners. I think they do say, like, yeah, 2024 is done with. Let's focus on next year. How can we maximize our efforts in terms of, whether it's value, whether it's leads, calls, bookings, jobs, things like that. So, yeah, there is that whole new year, new me thing. And let's get someone in place who knows what they're doing so we can focus on what we do best, whether running the business. But, I would say there's no real common theme between e-commerce and lead generation. Like I said, it's kind of like a bit of a passing ships, whereas e-commerce in Q4 really comes alive and everybody's going crazy and buying products left, right, and center, ready for Christmas. For lead generation, usually is the opposite. Like I said, shutting shop, things slowing down. So I would actually say for lead generation, Q1, Q2, those are the months where in my experience, get a lot more business and inquiries coming from lead generation clients. People saying, okay, and I think it can be aligned with the tax year, April and things like that. When businesses have paid their tax, they've got, okay, we've paid all the money now, we've done the tax. Now it's a new financial year. Okay, how are we going to best attack this? We've seen the projections, we've spoken to the accountants and all that kind of good stuff. How can we make the 2025 to 2026 financial year like a winner? How can we increase business profits, revenue, from a lead generation perspective? So for me, that's when I see that's like Q4 in lead generation terms, that Q1, Q2 period, end of financial year, tax year. That's the Q4 for lead generation because they've seen the previous year what they did. They want to do better. Okay, well, let's look at Google Ads. We've got all this money now that we've paid the taxes. We have all this free money for marketing. Let's try Facebook ads. Let's try Google Ads. Let's try, whatever it might be. So I see that Q1 and Q2 are usually a lot more active in terms of lead generation than Q4. But like I said, Q4 it's not as crucial for lead generation as it is for e-commerce. It's usually the opposite. It's usually a slowdown, kind of period. So yeah, that's kind of it from me. Did you have any thoughts, Gene, on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much experience when it comes to lead gen. I've done like a showroom, like a remodeling showroom within a remodeler. So I do agree. Here in the U.S., if it's quarter four, if you're a roofing company, it's cold outside or it's inclement weather, so perhaps there's a little bit of that slowdown that Ryan was suggesting, and just making sure that if you're on manual bids, making sure that might reflect, the bid strategy of others also, if it's either fluctuating up or down. The only other, thought that I could, think of perhaps is just if you're like a gym trainer, and you're like you want leads for people to whatever, maybe Q4 and Q1 is your big hitter. But regardless, I think it's good advice that Ryan provided. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think, shout out to my friend Damien as well. He probably doesn't watch this. I don't think he even knows about the PPC Cave. I'm a bad friend. I should tell him about it. But he's just started his jet washing business, like power washing business. And he's doing it right now, which is like wintertime here in the UK. And, he's already had 3 or 4 jobs completed. But it's like the reason why he wanted to start now was because he wanted to test that winter market. He wanted to say, well, if I'm going to do this full time as a job, I want to know what winters are going to be like, because typically as a jet washing business, as a power washing business, spring, summer is when it's going to be really like peak. So what's it going to be like in the winter? How am I going to survive? How am I going to pay the bills? How am I going to keep the the mortgage go in, all that kind of stuff. So I think he's done it a really good way to kind of start now and test that winter market when it's quiet, typically in the lead generation niche, so that he knows going forward, 2025, December, what it's going to be like. He has a certain expectation. So I think that's just smart. And yeah, I definitely encourage people to do the same thing as that, try different services. Like he's not obviously like doing much power washing. He's doing more gutter cleaning, like cleaning out I don't know if you guys in the US, if you call them gutters or if you call them
Hmm.
something else, but
Yeah.
all the kind of sludge and the junk that kind of gets in the gutters, cleaning all that out, hoovering it out, so, water flow can be uninterrupted and rainfall and things like that. So it's a really good thing. But yeah, I definitely recommend people do that as well, is kind of test different services in the quieter months, and then just kind of focus on your bread and butter kind of services in the busier months.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well,
Cool.
yeah, I mean, I think this is very important, because when I first started in Q4 and I got all these inquiries and sometimes a client going off rails with, I'm like, hey, we usually just talk once a month. Why are you messaging me or emailing me 4 times a week? You kind of get taken aback, and then just knowing the landscape of being empathetic, either if they're in lead gen or e-commerce, and how to react to that because of this highly stressful, heightened, especially for e-commerce, like we mentioned, time for a client. I think it provides us a different framework, a different mindset of how we reply, and maybe even extending grace, and how we are, more pleasant, and not taking things personally, thinking, why are they micromanaging us? Why all of a sudden do they not trust us? No, it's just maybe 30% of the revenue needs to come in these next couple months, So with that being understood, I think it's just really crucial that we are continually communicative as PPC managers, and just continuing to listen to the client despite of whatever we feel, because at the end of the day, we wouldn't be here without them, and we understand. Any final thoughts, Ryan, before we close it out?
No, no, well said. I think it's a good episode. As always, really important going forward as well for people who want that expectation of what Q4 is like between e-commerce and lead generation. So I think we've covered everything.
Awesome. Well, yeah, if there's nothing else, we could close it out. Ryan, where can they find you?
Yep. So you can find me at Ryan Fenton. No, yeah, Ryan Fenton. I've got my own website there, ppc.co.uk. I'm also on LinkedIn again, Ryan Fenton on there. Yeah, I think that's everywhere.
Perfect. Yeah, and you could find me at genevillanos.com. In the new year, I will be updating my website. I feel like I've just had it on, like had it live, and didn't really do much to it. But yeah, genevillanos.com. You could find us there. And also, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate. You could email us at theppccave@gmail.com. I think we have, some comments in the last week on our video, so we love that. If you have any questions or topics that you would like to discuss, just email us, and we'll continue to spit these episodes out Monday, 12 a.m. Mountain Time, on Apple Podcasts, also Spotify and Spotify Video, and on YouTube. And we're on social medias. Ryan does a good job taking care of our reels on IG, and also on TikTok, and our shorts on YouTube. And if there's nothing else, bye for now.